how do the results of this presidential election reflect the will of the people, since more people voted for Hillary Clinton than for Donald Trump? And as the votes continue to be counted, we see that in 2016, like in the year 2000, the Democratic presidential candidate received more votes in the popular vote, but ultimately lost the electoral vote. This is a screenshot from the New York Times election tracker earlier today. And as you see, Hillary Clinton receiving about 230-ish thousand more votes than Donald Trump today. Donald Trump with more electoral votes than Hillary Clinton, but about 250,000 fewer votes overall. This is the system.
Hey, David, I have a question for you. Are you a little slow? I'm not going to read off all the, suffice to say, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden's. I'll post this entire transcript at Rumble. I'm not going to post it all on YouTube. But I'll post the transcript on Rumble. Suffice to say, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden's victories in the popular vote were eclipsed by their wins in the popular vote in New York, California, and Illinois. And long story short, I am posting the data in screenshots that you can stop and read if you want, because my time is valuable and I don't have time to sit on my ass like Miss Pakman does and run my mouth all day because I have a real job. But suffice to say, California, Illinois, New York, the margin of victory that Hillary and the Plug's dementia got there eclipse their popular vote victories by a long shot. Now, California, Illinois, New York, and I've got several years of data up there, have a lot more continued claims per 100,000 non-farm jobs and a lot lower labor force participation rate than the 7 GOP trifectas that never had a shelter-in-place or stay-at-home order. California also has the highest percentage of their population that is under 65 relative to the national average. Basically, what I'm telling you, Miss Pac-Man, is your voters, what you've done is your margin of victory is freeloaders. It's not people that work. Democrats don't want to work. That's why Joe Biden has opened up the southern border, because you want more voters that aren't going to work, because that's your base. And your base in New York, California, and Illinois gave Biden and Hillary their wins in the popular vote. So it's Slackerville. I'll give you this one quick example. And I'll even post the link to the video where it's at on Rumble, too. You can read this whole thing. The Electoral College is a good pushback, a good hedge against Sharia law. For example, let's say California decides to bring in, instead of bringing in people who aren't going to work from Latin America, without merit, of course, because we want people with merit here, and your voters in California, New York, and Illinois largely have no merit and no job and no income and no property. They live in a small apartment. So, my stomach's growling too, by the way, if you heard that. So, what happened? Let's say California, instead of bringing in unskilled labor from Latin America that's not going to work, they start bringing in whack job Muslims that favor Sharia law. Of course, there's any other kind of whack Muslim other than a whack job. But anyways, let's say they bring them in. Now, under the Electoral College scheme, California can stuff their own ballot, but the Electoral College blunts their influence. And it blunts the influence of places like California, New York, and Illinois, where you have a high percentage of people that are freeloaders, working age people that aren't working. Now, under the National Popular Vote scheme, they could stuff the ballot in California, New York, and Illinois, and that would be enough. But under the Electoral College, they'd have to stuff the ballot in places like Iowa, the Dakotas. I could mention Montana Governor Greg Gianforte banned sanctuary cities in Montana, he and the legislature, even though they didn't have any. So you're not going to be able to stuff the ballot in Montana, but you'd have to stuff the ballot in places like Iowa, North Carolina, Texas, Florida, and other places. It wouldn't work just stuffing it in the places where you have all your freeloaders. So that's why the Electoral College was put in there. So your voting base would have their, give me stuff from the public treasury blunted. And that's the way it should be, because your base is freeloaders that don't work. Have a nice day and don't thank me now.